Hello, Internet. Welcome to NerdChat. If you've never been here before, what we like to do here is we like to break down comic book stories. So, if you are an experienced reader, we typically pick stories that aren't as touched on by a lot of bigger other channels. And if you're a new reader, we're picking stories from some of your favorite heroes. If you watch the TV shows, movies, played games, or whatever, and you want to know more about some of your favorite characters, this is the place to be. So what we're doing today is we are covering Nightwing Year 1, Part 2. So if you haven't seen our first video on Part 1, I recommend you go watch that first. But basically what this story covers, if you just need a reminder, is we are covering Dick Grayson's transition from Robin to Nightwing. So last issue, what we talked about was how he got fired from being Robin, and now Dick is on a journey of trying to figure out what he is supposed to do next. Is he going to continue the superhero life? Is he going to, settle down and just be Dick Grayson? Is he going to pick up a new identity? Is he, where is he going to go next? What is his plan? So this story picks up with him in Metropolis. It's not long after Bruce and Dick's fight, and he needs to talk to an adult that doesn't live in a cave. So he is at the Daily Planet, and he tells his name to the receptionist, and Lois Lane overhears him say that his name is Dick Grayson. She starts trying to dig up something on him because his name sounds familiar, but Dick is here to meet with Clark. So he goes to Clark's office, and he catches Clark up on what happened. Clark asks, how could he fire you? It's not a job. But Dick says, well, it is a job to Bruce. Clark says that they're partners, like Robin Hood and Little John, or Lone Ranger and Tonto. He's Bruce's good right hand, but Dick doesn't feel Bruce sees it that way. It's his car, his cave, his rules. He pays the bills, and in his eyes, Dick screwed up. This is when Lois finds out that Dick Grayson is the adopted ward of billionaire Bruce Wayne, then bursts into Clark's office trying to find out how he and Clark know each other. They are saved by the bell, though. So what happens is that she asks how they know each other, and Dick's like, oh, we're both big hockey fans, which neither of them are. But that's just the first thing that came to his mind. And but they're saved by the bell because the president is in town, because of course he is, and his escort is under attack. So Clark dashes off before they even notice that he's gone, before they even turn around to see him. He's already dashed off to go help the president. And Lois is like, where did Clark go? And if she turns around, Dick is also gone. So Dick is currently leaping off the rooftop, and we have some of his continued narration to Bruce. And he's talking about how even though he's lost in all rights to be Robin in Bruce's eyes, he did keep some of the official gear. So he still has a few batarangs and some grappling hooks and whatnot. So he's using that to go catch up to Clark. But Dick doesn't have a costume right now. He's just in a hoodie and sneakers and jeans. So he doesn't have the intimidation or the presence of a superhero. So the threat is there's a few men with vest bombs, and they're trying to bomb the president. Superman takes out one by flying the bomb above the city at super speed, and it explodes. And Dick cuts off the other guy, and when he asks who he is, Dick responds, he's like, I'm just a concerned citizen. Because like I said, he doesn't have a costume, so he doesn't have the presence of a superhero. So the criminal stumbles back and falls off the roof, and Dick tries to catch him, and he only manages to grab the vest, which rips off. So now he has a guy plummeting to the ground that he can't save, and a bomb that is about to explode. So it has a countdown. It has 4 seconds left. And Dick decides, well, if I can't disarm the bomb, what I have to do is I have to minimize casualties to 1. So he jumps off the building so that he's the only casualty. But Superman saves the fallen criminal and then grabs Dick and tells him not to worry. He uses his X-ray vision to analyze the bombs, and he knows that the timer is only a failsafe. It's triggered by altitude. Once it gets within 200 feet of sea level or something like that, it was weird. I had a hard time understanding exactly what it was, but it was supposed to trigger at altitude. Once it got close enough to the president, it was supposed to explode, not by the timer. But Dick jumped off the roof, and the fact was he was going to sacrifice himself to save any of the people that were in the building that they were on. So this is now, an hour or so later after they've finished dealing with this. They're now on a rooftop, and they're continuing their talk. And Superman makes fun of Dick a little bit. He's like, really, hockey? And he's like, it's just the first thing I could think of. And Superman's like, it's understandable. Lois can be a bit intimidating. But this is where Superman tells Dick that he's a bit too young to retire. Like, what is it that he wants to do? And Dick says the whole reason he came to Superman is because he wanted to get his opinion. Not exactly just as a fellow costumed hero, but as an observer of the human race. More bluntly, an alien. And Dick says it's not meant to offend him. Superman's kind of honored by the question. He's like, no, it's actually relieving to drop the facade of being, whatever it is people see of me, of this hero, just to be who I am for a change as an alien. So, and Superman says that Batman actually, quite some time ago, asked him the exact same question. Maybe just trying to keep him honest, he doesn't know. But Clark says it might be easy to show him why it is that Superman does what he does, and he takes Dick to see the Fortress of Solitude. So Clark is showing Dick the story of this hero from Krypton long before his birth. Like Dick, he was cast off from his family, but he dreamt of justice and helping the weak. He wanted to show that he could use his talents to show his family that he was better than what they gave him credit for, and thus he became a legend. The name that this hero went by doesn't exactly have a straight translation from Kryptonian to English, but the best translation that Superman has is Nightwing. Dick says he really likes that. So Superman tells him that he hopes that he knows that Superman isn't exactly looking for a partner. And Dick says it's not why he's here. He needs to talk to someone that he respects and someone who can understand what he's going through to some degree. So Superman asks, did you consider ditching the hero gig? Do you want to just live your life as Dick Grayson? And Dick says he considered it, and it sounded good for about 5 seconds, but he's dedicated his entire life to being Robin. And he always thought that one day, and before he can even finish that sentence, Superman says that you would become Batman. And Dick says he's never told anyone that before. Superman explains why he has the Fortress of Solitude, as he's making tea for both of them. And he's warming it with his heat vision. He explains that this isn't just a super cave for him to hold all of his stuff. It's a place of solitude for him. It's all he really has, ultimately, but sometimes it's all he needs. Just a piece of his home to come back to after all the fighting. So he asks Dick, do you have a place like that? And Dick says, I used to, and this leads to Dick going back to Haley's Circus. Now we cut quickly to the Batcave, and Alfred is cleaning a case with Dick's original costume. And as Batman pulls in, Alfred says, Daddy's home. And Batman comes up, and he sees that Alfred's dusting the case. He tells him not to do that. It's not a trophy or memorial. Alfred says perhaps it can be a reminder to the next hapless young youth that Bruce employs, to the standards of which he must aspire. Bruce says there won't be any others. He's through with partners. Alfred retorts saying, then perhaps I should call Miss Gordon and tell her that you will no longer require her services, or maybe call the outsiders as well. And Bruce walks off saying he's hurt and needs mending. You can see that he has a cut on his arm. And Alfred says, more than you realize, Master Bruce. And Bruce says, you know what I mean. Now we go back to Dick, and he's walking through the circus, and he's taking it all in because it's been quite a change from what he used to last. The Haley Circus has merged with another circus, and they're on to bigger and better shows, but it's still his home ultimately. So, but as he's taking the sights, 2 thieves run past him, and they have a bag. Dick thinks if only he had a batarang, he could have taken them both out with one throw, but his last one's probably hanging off a Metropolis skyscraper. Dick runs after them anyways. Even though he has no way to defend himself other than his own skills, he acrobats his way throughout the circus and he's able to get in front of them. They pull knives on him and he needs, he preferred to have some sort of weapon, and since he doesn't have any of his typical toys, he grabs some of the juggler sticks from a nearby juggler because they make for effective makeshift eskrima. Dick easily puts them down after this, and Mr. Haley shows up. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you little Dickie Grayson, Haley's own favorite son, all grown up and still making us proud. And now a woman shows up to thank Dick for saving the payroll, and she asks if there's anything they can do to repay him. to which he says he would settle for just having his old job back, so they go off to talk. So, as they're speaking in one of the trailers, the woman, Lorna Hill, and Mr. Haley, they explain why they haven't had a lot of luck with finding high wire acts. It's risky, no net and all that. But Dick claims, as they just saw, he's not exactly out of practice. She asks if he's okay with sharing the trapeze, working without a net, promise the thrills and chills and all of that. But a ghostly voice quickly adds, "And we deliver." And Deadman walks into the trailer, and he's asking, "What's the matter, kid? You look like you've just seen a ghost." And that is the end of part 2. So what the next issue has to deal with is about how Dick ends up figuring out what his costume's going to look like, and he's just getting more comfortable into starting to show that he's getting more comfortable finding a new identity other than Robin. So as we see in this issue is how he got the name Nightwing, and the next issue is about him getting the costume and some of his tools. And then after that, we'll start seeing him act as Nightwing for the first couple times. But yeah, and as you can see, each one of these issues has him partnering with someone. Like, obviously the first one was Batman, this one was Superman, the next one we're going to have some crossover with Deadman. And you'll see as you continue to watch a series what other people he ends up partnering with. So, yeah, that's this is, it's YouTube, the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, press the notifications button, all that jazz. I'll be back next week with the next part of this, and it's a 6-parter in total. So if you've been liking it so far, be sure you turn in for the whole thing. So that's all I got. Thanks everyone. There are some videos up on the screen to recommend some other things to you that you might be interested in watching, and that's all I got. Thank you everyone. Bye.